I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for that introduction. Thanks for having me on.
No, I'm thrilled to have you. And this movie, No Escape, where you play just a regular dad husband that gets thrown into the middle of a coup with his wife and children trying to escape. And I've got 3 kids of my own. I felt I had like a pit in my stomach watching you with your kids doing all sorts of crazy stuff to get them out of harm's way. And I know you've got a couple kids yourself. This had to be something for you to do, Owen.
Yeah, the idea kind of sort of, that your children or family might be threatened, I think really kind of unleashes a lot of adrenaline and kind of, primal stuff. And that's what sort of happens. We just kind of get, find ourselves in the middle of this kind of, revolution breaking out and just all hell breaking loose.
And at some point during this, I know you had a moment where somebody put an item around your neck that turned out to be anti-government in Thailand and almost wound you up in sort of a Midnight Express situation.
God, wouldn't that be horrible? Midnight Express in Thailand.
That might be the sequel to No Escape. I don't know.
Yeah, there was the day I was leaving Bangkok, there had been protests going on for a couple months. Not that I was leaving, but against the prime minister, where I think the military did take over. And I just posed for a picture with somebody in the lobby, and they'd put a whistle around my neck with, some red, white, and blue strap. And I guess that identified me with the protesters, the rebel forces. And so then I just, got on the plane to go home, but the production office had to deal with all this anger from the prime minister's office that I was siding with the rebel faction.
Did something happen like that on the set of Zoolander and the German government at some point? Oh, did something? No? Is this a first for you?
No, that we actually just finished filming in Rome, Zoolander 2, and it was pretty peaceful.
So was this the Zoolander, the movie you shot after No Escape? Was there something in between? That's a nice turn. That's
so it's kind of a different feeling, obviously from No Escape, but it is sort of that thing. You were mentioning having 3 kids and kind of watching with a pit in your stomach. That it does seem like a lot of being a parent. I have 2 little boys. There's just a lot of stress in it. Just kind of, there's a lot of joy and stuff, but you just worry. And so I remember my dad us growing up. It was always kind of stressful for him. Family outings and stuff. And so this movie kind of takes that and kind of puts it on steroids.
Oh yeah. Oh, and I mean, I cry at car commercials now. Depending, it's remarkable what I'm affected by when it involves children on screen. It's crazy.
Yeah, I had. I don't know. Maybe you do get a little bit more sentimental. I had my dog of 14 years passed away, and maybe this a few months ago, and I was explaining to Ford, my 4-year-old, kind of what had happened, and I think I'm telling him this very powerful thing about life and death, and how I was so happy that he and Garcia, that was my dog, that they kind of got to know each other, and I think, God, this is really landing. He's going to remember this his whole life. And I kind of take a little pause, and Ford goes, "Can we go to Fun Factory now?" But to Ford's credit, he then saw me kind of sag my shoulders, and then he was like, "After we're done talking," and so he does have the emotional intelligence there. But it does remind you kind of this, just growing up, you do stuff that drives your parents crazy, and you can't expect them. You guys, you're just cast in different roles,
Sure.
And you can't expect them to kind of, feel the same way, about stuff as you do.
Sure. I'm on the phone with Owen Wilson. His movie No Escape, opening in theaters this very Wednesday. Go see it. It's a fun thriller. Last I saw you, Owen, you were catching passes prior to a Super Bowl on the Super Bowl field from Kurt Warner, my colleague on NFL Network. Do you recall that, Owen?
I recall it. It's just like it's one of my best memories. I'm glad you're recalling it.
Yeah.
I want that to live forever. I mean, talk about something that'll unleash adrenaline. It's not just your family being threatened. It's being on a Super Bowl field. I mean, I remember feeling when I was running, I took off my shoes and was just running in like socks, but feeling like I would love for someone to time me on the 40 right now, because I felt like I was just flying, and I felt like it was like, throwing just frozen ropes. I mean, it really, I felt like that was one of the best days of my athletic life.
Yeah, we're showing that. We showed the video on the television portion of the show right now, Owen, and it looks like you've got some feathery hands right there. It just
Richard.
Yeah, it just dropped right in there, and you grabbed it. But when Kurt Warner's throwing you the ball, you cannot drop it as that ball's coming at you.
No,
right, Owen?
No, he's got. You certainly don't want to, and thankfully, I managed to hold on to him.
So what's more intimidating, going ahead and catching a pass like that from Kurt Warner, or acting in the same movie with Robert De Niro? What's more intimidating to you, Owen?
Probably De Niro, because Kurt's such a sort of, seems like such a kind of sweet-natured guy, really kind of puts you at ease. And De Niro's, he's a nice guy too, but he doesn't put you at ease, quite as readily as Kurt did. So that definitely was more nerve-wracking, acting with De Niro.
Yeah, I bet. And that catch was made at the Super Bowl in Dallas, your native Dallas. Do you have any thoughts on your Cowboys season and what you're hoping to expect from it?
Well, I remember last summer we saw Jerry Jones's the Cowboy bus parked in Malibu at a restaurant, and sure enough, he was in there, and I met him. Al Michaels introduced us, and I remember saying, I'm excited for the season, and I had no excitement. I thought they were just going to be terrible, and I felt like he sort of was kind of, I felt like he didn't seem like it. He was saying, we'll hope for the best, and then they did, had like their best year in a long time. So now I'm kind of pumped again that I hope they kind of build on that momentum. So
who was your Cowboy growing up, when you were growing up watching him? Who was your guy?
Well, I guess, I sort of had two sort of eras. There's the 90s when we kind of won the Super Bowls and stuff with Aikman and Irvin and Emmett. But then as a kid, with Staubach and, even people like Walt Garrison and Tony Dorsett and, just loving all those old players.
Yeah, I'm on the phone with Owen Wilson here on the Rich Eisen Show. A couple more questions for you from your film career. Which co-star or actor or actress cracks you up the most, where you can't keep your straight face on? Is it? I think
Kristen Wiig is pretty great. Is really funny, and then I think just Ben Stiller and I have worked together on a ton of movies, and Ben and I he can really get me laughing sometimes.
Yeah. What about Vince Vaughn? He gets me every time.
Yeah. Well, Vince, like, it's not just like in movies. It's not just like on the set, just Vince in real life.
Yeah.
There's not many people that are, so original, kind of. So Vince just kind of like, he couldn't ask for a better person to like have a night out on the town and stuff and have some, great laughs.
Yeah, and Will Ferrell screaming for some meatloaf. That's got to be good too.
Right.
It's not too bad in its own right either.
Yeah, Will Ferrell's a good tennis player.
I did not know that. Really?
Yeah, we played a little tennis in Rome because he's in Zoolander also.
Was it clay courts on the clay?
Yep, clay courts, and it was actually the hotel where a lot of the tennis players were there for the Rome Open. So Djokovic was staying there, and got to meet him. He's a great guy.
So, what was his favorite movie? Djokovic, what did he come up to you and talk to you about?
He was, I should ask him. Yeah, he was. I need to tell him. I felt like I was giving him a ton of compliments. I need to let him know that's a two-way street.
It is,
now,
Owen.
now that you mention it,
come on.
I don't know if he mentioned any movies.
That's an outrage. That's an outrage.
Yeah.
There's an I in Wilson. I mean, come on. And I would not be able to go home to my children if I did not bring up Lightning McQueen to you. How often do you get people asking you to call phones and do Lightning McQueen for their kids, Owen?
Yeah, you get a lot of, what happens sometimes is the parents coming up saying, my kid they love Cars and Lightning McQueen. Will you take a picture? And it'll be like a little kid who doesn't understand when their parents are saying, this is Lightning McQueen, because Lightning McQueen is the car. And so the kid's just kind of looking kind of confused, or worse, kind of crying, and doesn't really want to take a picture. And then you're having to kind of take a picture, and I'll try to throw out a few ka-chows and stuff and see if I can win them over.
Sure.
But, sometimes it's difficult. And I don't know what it is with kids, but they haven't seen a movie until they've seen it 50 times.
Oh.
So they love the repetition.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. And I can't wait to just watch The Sting one day, or Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid one day with them, and say, you see that guy? He was Doc Hudson. You know what I mean? Like, they won't understand that about Paul Newman one day.
Well, that was one of the coolest things of working on Cars, is that we got to do a session with Paul Newman in New York, where then we got to go to dinner. And then, because he's a good race car driver, he came to, I think it was North Carolina, some track there where we had sort of the premiere, and he did some laps, and we did some of the press junket stuff together. But, I mean, that's sort of one of those people you can't really believe that he sort of walks the earth.
Yes.
I mean, it just didn't get any better than that.
And he makes a hell of a popcorn.
Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah, I know. Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I know the hustler. Hey, Owen, thanks for calling in. I'd love to have you here in studio in Los Angeles, should you be so inclined for your next project, or if you ever want to talk some sports.
That would be fun. Okay, I'll look forward to it.
And I look forward to No Escape crushing it at the box office. I enjoyed seeing it.
Okay, adios.
You bet it. Same. That's No Escape in theaters Wednesday. Lake Bell, Pierce Brosnan, and all sorts of acting from Owen Wilson that let's just put it this way, did not see it in Cars. And did not see it in the Royal Tenenbaums, or pretty much anything that he's ever done.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.